Welcome to Basic Dog Training mini-series. In this 5-part mini-series, I'm going to go in details about how to train your dogs, all the things that you need to know about training dogs, what tools to use, how often should you train your dog, what method to use, all the details that a new or experienced dog owner need to know how to train their dog. So welcome, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. In this video series, we're going to explore all that and more. So let's get started. So before we get started, we have to go back to beginning. 60 to 90% of dog training happens with the dog owner. The dog owner needs to be trained rather than the dog. So that's where we are starting, and we are starting to understand when do you start to train your dog. The best scenario is that you start training your dog or training yourself before you get your dog. Yes, before you get your puppy or your dog. Whether you are trying to adopt a dog or rescue a dog or get a puppy, you need to start training yourself. You need to start educating yourself about what type of dog is ideal for you or your family. Are you able to have a dog? Do you want to adopt or do you want to get a puppy? Where to get a dog? All those questions have to be answered, and you have to answer them honestly. And then if you decide to get a dog, then you have to start educating yourself about dogs. What are dogs? Where did they come from? How do they live? What do they need? All these things also you have to start learning before you get your puppy or your dog. Let's pretend that you decided to get a puppy. So now you have to start learning about puppies. Puppy training is the step 1 and level 1 of training a dog. Puppy training is not what we think it is. Puppy training is not going to happen until puppy is 4 to 6 months of age. Until then, you're just raising your puppy. You have to remember that your puppy was living with its parents or with the breeder, and now it's in your home, in your family. And what that means is that you are taking over raising your puppy. So raising a puppy is different than training a puppy. So training a puppy happens at 4 to 6 months of age and later on. That's where the puppy can literally start focusing on learning. Before that, they're not ready physically, emotionally, and mentally. They're not developed yet to be trained. So once they are 4 to 6 months and older, then you can start formal training with puppy level. After puppy level, you start basic obedience. Basic obedience or formal training is the next level. And that means you're going to invest in training your dog in 3 levels: basic obedience, intermediate level, and advanced level. You need to go through all these levels for your dog to be trained as an obedient dog. Once you have accomplished obedience training, you're going to start focusing on specialty training if you want to. Specialty training like agility, fly ball, tracking, duck jumping, herding, and many more. And then we get into a deeper level of training, which is behavioral modification training. Behavioral modification is different than training. Behavioral modification is basically you're replacing the unwanted behavior with wanted behavior, or you are giving a new idea of or concept of behaving to the dog. This happens only if your dog has had the puppy level and basic levels of training accomplished and is ready to be behaviorally modified. Behavioral modification is a little bit deeper concept that you need to understand, and I'm going to do a separate video on that in future videos. But basically, let's say if your puppy or your dog is jumping on people, which is unwanted behavior, and you want to replace it with new behavior or wanted behavior, you teach the puppy or the dog to sit and stay and greet people instead of jumping on them. So that's behavioral modification. But in order for the behavior to be modified, your dog or puppy needs to know basic obedience of sit and stay, so you can replace that unwanted behavior with the wanted behavior. So one last thing that you have to remember is that behavioral modification or specialty training dogs, they need you to have a dog who has had obedience accomplished, basic, intermediate, and advanced level of obedience. So focus on accomplishing those before you approach to any specialty dog training or behavioral modification. So those are the levels of training your dog, and that's when you start training your dog. So if you want to learn more, I invite you to join one of my online courses. All the information will be in the description. And in the next video, we're going to learn about how long does it take to train your dog and how often should you train your dog. Until next time, have fun with your dog.